Hello, this is Kade, and it has been a while since I uploaded anything Star Citizenship related or anything at all, I believe. So why not make use of the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo to quickly go over a lot of the ships in Star Citizen throughout this entire expo. So I will be uploading a overview of what's out there for each day. And of course today we're starting out with Argo, Greycat and Consolidated Outland. And right now I'm starting here in the Holosuite for Consolidated Outland. And the reasoning being we're starting out with the Pioneer, which is the one ship that I am personally the most excited about from their lineup. And the reasoning being is that the Pioneer is a flying factory. It's designed to build prefab modules, but also do things on its own. It can literally land somewhere and just start chewing out buildings. So you can build entire outposts with them, regardless of what focus you want to have for them. Now, it is a very pricey ship, make no mistake there. It comes in at like 750 wall bond or 850 in credits. However, it's a industrial ship, which means it is a revenue generating source, which is a thing that many of the other large ships do not really have, because a lot of these larger combat ships, they're probably going to be more of a business expense. Now, of course, you could use them in private military use and stuff like that, and there are going to be revenue potentials for them, but they're going to be naturally, I would expect, less profitable than an industrial ship. Not just because maybe you get less money paid for a contract, but also because your upkeep is going to be higher. Because if you're going to get into combat scenarios, you're going to take hits, you're going to take damage, you do a lot more wear and tear on ships. A ship like the Pioneer, for example, with the engine's going to get not that much wear and tear on them, because the only time you fly it is because you need to fly to a new location where you land it and you're going to be parked there for days, weeks, months, who knows. That sort of information is just not yet available to us. So maybe like, you're not going to park it, do you need to fly it off and restock it? Well, of course not, you're going to be restocking it with something like a C2 Hercules. So it's a flying factory to build outposts, and building outposts is really cool because, well, you can build your own place to live, but you can also build a mining outpost, industrial outpost, maybe you can build a resort. Who knows? It's clear from their recent reveals on the construction stuff is that they are planning to really expand the job of construction for outposts and stuff like that. Before it was all like some prefab stuff, but they recently be like, hey, you know what, we want to kind of do a bit more than that. And you can just see how large this thing is. Like, look at all these shipping containers in the front. It's a really, really big ship, and it's gonna be really awesome. Do keep in mind, if you want to get your hands on this, I think by the time this video launches, probably not. It's gonna be tight because it's just almost 2200 UTC, and at midnight UTC there's gonna be one more wave, and then somewhere the next day is gonna be one more wave, and then they're all gone. So here we have the Argo, and for Argo and the Hollow Viewer we have the SRV, the Ship Recovery Vehicle. This is pretty much a cockpit. Probably a bed, because for longer journeys, who knows, a couple of really, really big engines and a tractor beam. So this is another ship that's going to be really, really useful in the verse, because if you want to be playing like refueling, repair operations in space, you're going to want this ship, because this is pretty much the ship that allows you to tow any other ship. So if say somebody flying around, they got attacked in their what shall we say? What got they got attacked? Like, they got attacked in their Argo Mall, and their engines got blown out, and it's damaged to a level where you can no longer repair this in space. So it needs to be towed to a dry dock. That's where this ship is gonna come in. So this one can just literally tow fairly large ships, and of course, if the ship is getting larger, you can use them in multiples, and you can be flying them around. So if you're looking at an organization to be focusing on the whole search and rescue, repair, refueling service industry, these are going to be really, really useful ships. It doesn't come cheap. I believe it was something like 125 or something. I don't know all the prices from my head. Sorry for that. but it's going to be a really useful addition to that sort of a work. So let's take a look at some of the stuff that's down here, and then we go to the halls upstairs. Over there, the Greycat buggy, it's one of the oldest, I think it's the first, yeah, it was the first actual usable thing within the game. Because I remember racing this thing around in our hangars. And these days, I think there are much better options for transport, but that said, they are still cheap, they're hilariously fun, and well, that's all I can say about them. If you don't know them by now, then I think you've been never following this project. Over here, however, we have a more recent addition, which is of course the Rock. This is the mining vehicle. It has seen some love, some people don't like some aspects of it. I think it's a fairly cool little machine. It can make you fairly good credits right now. It's not too expensive, like buying one of these, plus what we'll see upstairs and the Nomad, could give you a really flexible earning source. That said, for I think around the same money you're looking at, I'm not sure what the Prospector is these days, I believe it was something like 140 as well. So it's really just mining you're after, maybe just a Prospector is better, but having a Rock and a Nomad is more flexible, because the Nomad's going to be useful for other missions as well. But yeah, good vehicle, nothing really bad to say about it. So let's go upstairs. Runny. I love these expo halls, by the way, they look amazing, but you can explore those yourself, that's not what we're going to be doing here. So we have the Arco Mpuv. This is pretty much like your shuttlecraft for a larger capital grade ship, either in cargo or personnel. You know, you want to be moving people up and down from planets, or goods up and down from planets. This is the ship that you want to use that for. And that's really the role for these things as well, because if you have these large ships, you do not want to take them into atmosphere unless you have to, because it will burn a lot of fuel. That's even for like an 890 owner. It's like, yeah, if you're going to be flying your 890, you probably are not going to land it on every planet. That's why you have a freaking, you know, shuttle bay in that thing. So you have your 85X or whatever you want in there, so you can fly in and out of it. That's just the passenger version. This is just the cargo version, by the way. Then we have the Argo Mall. The mall looks absolutely gorgeous. I love this thing. It's industrial design to a T. It just looks like what it is, an industrial ship. The problem is right now it's not worth it. If you want to be doing mining, you're better off with prospectors. You can get four prospectors will get much better return on investment than a single mall. And also the downside of these mall, I think, still is that like this is a full enclosed, you know, how you call it again, life supported cabin. But then over here you have these side pods which have no glass protection whatever, so you're just in your spacesuit completely exposed. It's like one of those small things I just don't really understand about this ship. Well, granted, full prospect is going to cost you more than a mall. So if you're really after that multi-crew gameplay, maybe you could do it. But I just think the current state of mining is not that great to use. And if you really want to go big scale mining, yeah, you're going to look into the Orion. So consider your options. If you're considering the mall and you're with some friends, like, see what would work better for you. Now on the walls here we have a lot of components which we're not going to take a look at. And the reason is you know how to look, and the statistics on components changes all the damn time. Here we have a very cool sort of like holographic painted ceiling effect here. I'm not sure what it is, but it looks really nice. But yeah, just explore the halls yourself, so they look nice. Now, over here we go to the Consolidated Outland Hull, where we have the last two types of ships that we're going to talk about. So flanking we have the Mustang series. I think that the Mustang series have been a little bit overshadowed in recent times because of the launch of, you know, the 100 series from Origin. That said, these are still capable ships. They just lack like an amenity like a bed, for example, which can be really, really useful. At least I think some of them lack, maybe some of them haven't by now. I actually haven't used one of these in ages. Let's see what... it does seem there is something behind there, but I'm not sure how you would access that. But there is clearly something there, I'm not sure if it's there. Anyway, they're still capable ships, there's nothing really wrong with them. And for a starter ship, like if you go for the lower price starter ships, it's between the Aurora and the Mustang in general. I would say the Mustangs are just cooler ships to have, but the Auroras keep the edge in practicality. And also, I'm still speculating on this. Right now, everything is automated repairs and stuff like that, but if they're ever going to work on, like, you know, there need to be parts availability and things like that, I would expect parts for an Aurora are going to be easier to find than for a Mustang. Then here we have the newest kit to the block, the Consolidated Outland and Nomad. Now I have a very big issue with the ship, and that's this hovering quotation mark landing gear, which I think is absolutely stupid, because the moment this thing loses power, it's just gonna crash into the ground and damage, you know, the gun, the landing gear and whatever else. And how would it lose power? Well, you know, maybe it gets EMP'd, who knows, or something breaks. So I'm not really sure about that. It does of course have the cool factor to it, and cool factor is something that Consolidated Outland does care about. Which is a little bit unique considering they're also the ones that make the Pioneer. But okay. It does have this fairly angular design to it, and at a price point of $70, it's gonna be a really competitive starter ship, and it competes pretty much with the Aegis Avenger, and that's why they made it, because the Avenger was just like, yeah, if you're a single person, you want a ship that's, you know, a starter ship, but a, you know, bit of a level up over a Mustang, Aurora or 100 series. The Avenger was like the go-to answer. The 300 series after the rework has gotten into that field as well. But this thing is just like, okay, 300 series is like, you know, this is my BMW. The Avenger, it's probably maybe your, you know, Volvo station wagon. And the Nomad comes in and it's just like, yeah, I'm just a pickup truck with guns. Don't like it? That's up to you. So it has this lowering cargo bay, which is completely exposed to the elements. So something to keep in mind in. Because that means if you're running away from combat and people are shooting at you and they're shooting ballistic weapons and they're going through your shields, anything in this cargo bay is gonna get hurt. Like what happened here apparently. It also has the advantage that it is large enough for a rock to be parked in here, so you can use this to fly a rock to a place and then start mining, as I mentioned earlier on when we were showing the rock. Overall, at $70, it's going to be a really good option for people to play around with, and I do like the fact that we're getting more options in this single-seater price bracket, because we do need them. Variety is the spice of life, and we need a variety at this lower end spectrum of the ships. Because not everybody's flying around in really big ships all the time. And even people like myself who have reasonable sized expensive fleets with larger ships mostly, quite often you will find us also flying around in smaller ships because they're just more practical right now. Like, I don't need a giant ship to get from point A to B, I can just grab a Pisces, for example. So smaller ships are really, really nice. So yeah, that was it for the first one then. I will have one of these every day, so we go through all the ships on display. I'll give you my current thoughts on them. So today we had Argo, Greycat and Consolidated Outland. And I don't have the schedule at hand, but we'll see what we get tomorrow. I hope this helps you get a bit more ideas of the ships that are out there, which ones could be useful for you, what could be interesting. And I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching.